Hey Edmonton, how's it going? Sean here from MealKraft. I'm with my good friend Kenny and we're gonna do something pretty special today. So why don't you take it away, Kenny?
Definitely. Well, for starters, thanks for having me do this with you, Sean. I wanna let everyone know that the reason why Sean and I are here today is to show you how to actually, from start to finish, cook and prepare your MealKraft meal. I know for a fact that there's two things on everyone's mind. It certainly is on mine and Sean's. It's number one, we have a whole lot more time on our hands with everything that's been going on with the pandemic. Number two, there's a lot of uncertainty happening. We don't know when we're gonna be able to go back and eat at our favorite restaurant. We don't know when we're able to go back into our routine. So with that in mind, Sean and I figured, why not get together and let's show you how to cook a meal. It's one of my favorite signature MealKraft meals. Sean, take it away. Let us know what we're making right now.
Yeah, so today we're gonna be making the chicken mushroom tagliatelle. This is one of the meals we have on our menu currently. As Kenny was saying, it might be a little intimidating when you see all these ingredients and when you see the meal, but I wanna break it down to Kenny and to everyone else who's gonna be watching how easy it is to make one of our meals at home.
So what's number one thing, Sean? What do we have to do here? I'm very new at cooking pasta, so.
I guess my next question, how comfortable are you with using a knife? Like have you used a knife before?
Does peanut butter and jelly on a sandwich?
Yeah, so I mean, butter knives, those are a type of knife, yeah, but this is a little bit, this is a little different knife. This is kind of your standard chef knife. I think the one you're using is, you know, a 7-inch blade, same with mine. So the first thing you wanna do is, a lot of people don't understand that they think, you know, a sharp knife is intimidating, a sharp knife is dangerous, but actually it's a dull knife that's gonna be the dangerous one. Because if you can imagine, if you're cutting something and it's not sharp, it has a chance, you know, for example, a pepper is a great vegetable. While you're cutting it, if your knife isn't sharp, you know, it can run along the skin and it's a lot easier to cut you. So before we begin anything, we always wanna make sure a knife is sharp and it's ready to go. So right now I have the honing rod. Yeah. So what I'm gonna show you is a simple way to just hone your knife. This is just to realign the blade. This isn't exactly sharpening a knife, it's just to realign the blade to make sure it will be sharp.
Definitely.
Yeah, so what you wanna do with this type of steel is you wanna hold it at a 45-degree angle like this. And you have two ways of doing it. You can either, just a simple glide down. Wow. So either, I like to do it, you know, 5 to 7 times on each side.
Damn.
And then you're gonna do the other way. Yeah, there you go. So you don't have to force it, just gently glide it along. Perfect, so I want you to grab a pack of the mushrooms.
Definitely.
So you're gonna,
organic.
So you're gonna cut them open.
Yep.
So what we're gonna do, Kenny, is we're just gonna chop up the mushrooms and we're gonna put them in one of our bowls, okay? You wanna make a claw with your hand and you wanna have the blade along your finger. Oh, so wow. This wall is gonna protect your hand from ever getting cut. Because if your hand is right here, doesn't matter how fast you're going, you're never gonna get cut because that wall is gonna be there. Wow. You know what I mean?
Always wanted to learn how to do
so we'll do it in slow, like I don't even have to look at it, I can just look at you because I know if this wall is along, if my finger is along this blade, nothing is getting through.
Dude, this reminds me of how scared I was when I went on the sky screamer at the water park.
Hey,
until I did it.
But now you're not scared of it anymore, right?
Exactly. I mean,
that's, you know, that's a great example of just facing your fears in anything you do.
By the way, Sean, I know you and me are big fans of push-up challenges. So I don't know, I think if you're down, loser in terms of whoever has the least satisfyingly tasted pasta has to do 50 push-ups.
Okay, yeah, no, I can do 50. Yeah, I feel like we'll see which one tastes better at the end. Now we're gonna start cutting our tomatoes. So we're just gonna use cherry tomatoes. Anyways, back to the point. Red onion. I got one because this is plenty for both of us. So I'm gonna cut this in half. I'm gonna give you one. So we're gonna get all these ingredients together. So we cut the tomatoes, we cut the mushrooms, we're about to cut the red onion, we're gonna cut the garlic. I'm gonna show Kenny how to cut garlic fresh, you know, from the bulb. And then we're gonna put everything in our pan. We're gonna cut the chicken, and we're gonna make that sauce. We're gonna put the chicken in, the chicken's gonna cook in the sauce, and then we're gonna have the pasta boiling too. And then everything's gonna go in one pan. We're making this very easy for you guys, you know. You're not having to, you know, have one thing here, one thing here, one thing here. We're just gonna cook everything, put it in the pan, throw the pasta in the pan, voila, that's it. Garlic now, okay? So garlic's a little bit trickier. Well, it's not tricky, but it's a little bit different. I don't know if you've done it like this before, but
You have fast hands, man.
how much garlic you want to add to your dish is completely up to you. I mean, standard, I would add probably 2 cloves, but I love garlic, so I'll probably add 4. So I'll show you guys like this piece of garlic right here. Just give it a nice crunch. After that, it makes it so much easier to peel. So okay, you like garlic too. Nice, you got like 6 cloves there.
You got a lot.
So there's a little trick to it.
Yeah, because they're so small.
Yeah, so you want to cut it into fine pieces, and then there's a trick where you can mince the garlic. So you're gonna actually smear it on your blade.
Oh, wow.
Move it back and forth. So right now we'll just start off by just cutting it.
Now.
Okay, now we're just gonna we're just gonna cut it even more like that.
Oh, nice, okay. So yours, right?
Yeah, we're just trying to get it as tiny as we can before we start turning it into a paste with our knife. You're gonna smear it with your knife, okay? So be careful. So you're just gonna make a motion like this and like this.
Oh, wow, okay.
So you're gonna press down on your blade. And you're gonna smear it back and forth.
Wow.
So we're just gonna dice the chicken, okay?
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna cut sideways, we're gonna cut along the breast, and then we're gonna cut down the breast, okay?
Okay.
So we have everything we need. We have our garlic, we have our chicken, we have our olive oil right here. We're gonna be making the sauce. We have some cream, we have some butter.
Beautiful.
We're gonna be adding some Parmesan as well. Do you have a grater?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so we're gonna be grating it. But yeah, we're done with the prep. So hopefully you guys saw a little bit of how we prepare all the ingredients. We're doing it a little bit different here versus how we do it at MealKraft, because obviously when you're cooking one meal versus, you know, hundreds of meals, the processes are a little bit different for efficiency's sake. But if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask us, DM us, and we're gonna see how Kenny's meal turns out. As you can see, we have the water boiling. It's getting ready to come to it's not boiling yet, but once it does, we will put the fettuccine in. And now we're gonna start, you know, taking all the ingredients that we've prepped, and we're gonna start making some magic. Let's get our lighters going first. Right now, you wanna have it at like a medium heat. So we're gonna put the butter in. Another thing people often make mistakes of, they have the heat too high and then their butter starts burning. They throw the garlic in, the garlic starts burning. Have it at a low medium heat. Obviously, if you're paying more attention to it, you can have it at a higher heat. But now that we'll put it at a high heat for now, just because we are here, we'll get the pan nice and hot. Typically, I put 1 teaspoon of butter. I suggest you do the same, or if you want yours with more butter, by all means add more butter. But yeah, as you guys can see already, the butter is melting quite fast. If you're not watching it and you have it at a high heat like this, it's gonna burn. So I'm gonna lower the heat a bit. I'm gonna get the butter nice and melted. I'm gonna add my garlic immediately. So I like to add my garlic with my butter, just so we get that base going. Remember, big thing is, oh, I wish you guys could smell it right now. Just that fresh garlic cooking. Oh, I love it.
That's nice.
So you can see the garlic's cooking already. So immediately we're just gonna add the chicken now, okay? The chicken is gonna be one of the longer ones to cook. So we're gonna add that in right away. Now I'm gonna give it a nice stir. Separating everything. Maybe a little flip if you're ambitious. So now we're gonna get our mushrooms in. So if you like mushrooms like me, I suggest putting quite a bit of mushrooms in.
I'm a big fan of mushrooms.
Usually a recipe like this for one person, I suggest half a cup of mushrooms. Onions, you wanna put your onions in. You really wanna make sure you cook down onions, especially red onions, they're quite strong. So we're gonna add, I think that's good enough for me. Now we're gonna get it a nice stir. Just needs a little bit more butter to it.
I will do the same.
I'm just gonna add a little salt and pepper to it. Nothing crazy.
I shall do the same.
I personally like cracked pepper, but we just have this grounded pepper right here, which is perfectly fine. So I'm gonna start putting my sauce in now. So I'm gonna use half a cup of cream. Honestly, in this case, it's quite a lot of food, so I'm gonna use 1 cup of cream. This is gonna really thicken that sauce. It's the base of the sauce, you know, it's gonna thicken it. Now we just let it boil.
Wow.
And now we're gonna add grana padano to our sauce. I mean, nothing like Parmesan to really enhance that flavor. Without this, it really isn't much of a sauce.
We're making like a homemade white sauce, aren't we?
Yeah, this is a homemade cream sauce. So be generous with your Parmesan. Oh, we lost a little bit, but that's okay. We're gonna leave this to the side. So be generous with your Parmesan. Obviously, if you're health conscious too, Parmesan is not the greatest for you. But for a dish like this, we're not worried too much about, especially if you're cooking at home, guys, things are tough right now. It's okay to add, you know, a little more butter, a little more Parmesan to really make that delicious dish, you know?
Make it tasty.
If it looks a little runny right now, don't worry. As it reduces more, it will reduce more, and then once it's done cooking, it'll even reduce even more. So this sauce is almost ready now. After this, we just need to wait for the water to boil, which it is, perfect. So now we're gonna add our noodles.
Timing though.
So we're gonna be cooking for more people as well, so we're gonna add quite a bit of fettuccine to it. I would say as much as...
Oh, it smells so good, man. I'm never going to get pasta outside again. I'm gonna just keep cooking myself pasta.
Oh, I love pasta. My favorite. Which plate?
Beautiful.
We'll just put all of the noodles in.
Beauty.
Now we just let the noodles cook. This is at a low heat now, right? You're just reducing the sauce. The chicken should be almost fully cooked now, so you don't want to put it at a high heat. Once the sauce is reduced, you want to turn the heat off because you don't want to overcook that chicken. That's a big thing a lot of people, like I said, tend to do when they first start cooking. They just start overcooking everything because they're worried about like, oh, it's not fully cooked yet. A very easy way to see if chicken's fully cooked, obviously if it's pink inside, it's not cooked, but if you just give it a nice pinch, it should break off quite easily. And if you just look at that, it's fully cooked already. Make sure you're really stirring your noodles just so they don't stick. I add a little salt to the water just to enhance its flavor. So you know what, we're gonna make this family style.
Yeah, buddy.
So we're gonna put everything together, we're gonna put it in one big pot, and we're just gonna, because let's be honest, I'm pretty sure we know who won this.
Wow.
I don't think Omen needs to have a taste to really know.
You, bro.
A big thing too, guys, is once these noodles get cooked and we drain it properly, that starch that's still on those noodles is gonna help soak up the sauce as well. So, you know, you have some people who rinse their noodles after they cook it with cold water to get the starch off. I mean, you can do that, but that's usually typically if you're not gonna use the noodles immediately because you don't want them to stick. But in our case, you know, we plan on using the noodles and dip them right in the sauce as soon as they're ready. So we're not gonna rinse it off. We're just gonna drain all the water, make sure it's not runny. And then we're just gonna put it in the sauce. This is Italian parsley. So just add some color to it. I was looking for basil. I love the smell, the taste of basil. I think for any dish, it's really, especially any Italian pasta dish, it really enhances everything at the end, brings out all the flavor. But we didn't have basil, so we're just gonna use some parsley.
Good, could just use a few more minutes.
So do you know what al dente means?
No, it sounds very familiar.
So al dente is the texture you want the noodles. So you don't want them super squishy like your KD and macaroni and cheese. How your mom, not your mom, but how most moms made the KD when you're a kid. But you want it to have a little bit of, you know, not crunch, but some texture to it as well. You just don't want it mush. So my dish, my chicken, it's all ready to go. The chicken's fully cooked, everything's ready. Now I'm just waiting on the noodle. An easy way if you're at home, just take a piece of noodle and taste it. See if it's ready.
How is it, Sean? Is it good to go to your high standard?
So I would give it like maybe a minute more. It's almost at that al dente level. And you also have to keep in mind too, once you strain your pasta, it's still cooking, right? So whatever you think it is, it's gonna be a little bit more cooked than what it actually is right now. So just keep that in mind. All right guys, so the noodles are ready, I strained it. Remember, once again, when you're straining the noodles, make sure you're getting as much water as you can. Any excess water is really gonna affect the consistency of your sauce when you add the noodles in. Just think about if you're adding, a bunch of watery noodles. So if you can look at my dish, the sauce is sticking really nice to it now. You can see everything's reduced, coming together. Yeah, if you look at Kenny's dish, it's a little bit watery, like I said. You wanna make sure that you're using a big enough pan or else you're gonna get a lot of moisture. You can see his sauce isn't really sticking to the dish.
Very watery pasta.
Yeah, it's not sticking and it's really watery. It kind of reminds me of like Boston pizza pasta. No offense. No offense to Boston Pizza. They make great pizzas. Pasta's a little questionable. So obviously we broke it down for you guys step by step, ingredient by ingredient, but something like this should only take you 30 minutes to make. Here's mine and then here's Kenny's. Not bad.
Yeah?
Yours is not bad.
I'm honored.
Yeah, yours isn't bad.
I feel a big difference in yours. I feel
Yeah?
like you're being nice. But the
I'd still eat it. I would still eat this one.
That just shows, guys, you know what? Perfect practice makes perfect. I mean, at the end of the day, when you get
Perfect practice makes perfect. There you go.
Right?
There it is.
Perfect practice. You gotta keep doing this. You gotta execute it. Just because the first time was, excuse me, as sloppy as it may be, it's only gonna get better from here, right? So if your first time wasn't as good, don't be discouraged. Remember my pasta, So Sean from MealKraft, thank you, man. This motivated me to make sure that I do my part to obviously stay home, cook amazing food such as what you offer on a delivery basis through MealKraft, and I'm excited to do more of these.
Yeah, no, this was great. I'm excited to eat, to be honest. I'm starving. But like I said, thank you so much for watching, everyone. And if you have any questions or feedback, please feel free to message us. And if you guys enjoyed these types of videos and you're gaining value from it, we'd be more than happy to do some of this on a consistent basis. So yeah, stay safe out there and have a great day.